When your alter ego may not be enough. I'm David Parker with the Law Office of David Parker, and this is another entry on my video blog. This case illustrates one of the chief inherent dangers of the single-member LLC, which is that they are an alter ego case waiting to happen. An LLC can be an excellent vehicle for limiting liability in business operations, which is of course the point of the enterprise and the reason why business owners incorporate to begin with. But a single-member LLC, which is another name for an incorporated sole proprietor business, carries dangers of its own, as illustrated by the recent case of Martin versus Freeman. This case and its implications were described in a recent article in Forbes. The case, which has important lessons for New York asset protection as it concerns small business owners, involved veil piercing. Mr. Freeman was the owner and sole proprietor of an LLC that was involved in some expensive litigation. Freeman sold assets of the business in order to cover the legal fees involved in that litigation. But in doing so, Freeman left the company undercapitalized, with no assets to cover the judgment, and this meant that he himself became liable for the costs. Part of the problem was the way in which Freeman did all of this. He sold assets of the business and received the proceeds himself in his own name as an individual, but then turned around and used them to pay a business-related expense, namely the legal fees associated with the litigation. By doing this, he failed to maintain a proper legal distinction between Freeman the individual and Freeman the proprietor of the company. What this goes to show is that a special diligence is required in the case of an LLC with only one member, where there is no partner to keep each other on the straight and narrow. There's no inherent reason why a single-member LLC has to be different from those with more than one member, but the temptation to cut corners and get lazy is greater, all of which illustrates the complexities involved in New York estate planning, where a small business is part of the family assets. I'm David Parker with the Law Office of David Parker. I'm an estate planning and elder law attorney.